Wrestling is the worst base in MMA. Just kidding. As many of you know, I've been on an absolute crusade trying to prove that Jiu Jitsu is effective in MMA. On the last video I posted on this topic, how to fix Jiu Jitsu for MMA, I got a lot of comments saying, stick to freestyle wrestling, that's the answer, forget about Jiu Jitsu, freestyle wrestling is all you need. And I'm just looking at these comments and I'm thinking to myself, man, that is just stupid. Now, without a doubt, wrestling is the best base for MMA. No question, no one will argue that. But there is just so much monumental ignorance when it comes to this field. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and make you look foolish right now. Let's start at the top. Who are some of the best wrestlers in MMA today? Khabib Nurmogomedov and Islam Makhachev, right? Wrong. That is the biggest insult you could give these two guys, to call them wrestlers. They are so much more than that. No one has been as critical of them as me. For many reasons I've given in the past, Khabib made an entire career of making himself look really good beating up strikers, and Islam Makhachev, who got 50-45 by Volkanovski. But all of this beside the point in this video. Khabib and Islam, they are not wrestlers. Let me tell you what they are. They are masters at wrestling, judo, and jiu-jitsu. That's the difference. That's what separates them from just being wrestlers. Wrestlers are very good at taking you down and pinning you and holding you there. Where the issues arise with this strategy, it's finishing the fight. That's the problem. They may get you down, they may hold you there, they'll win a decision. They'll 30-27 you by just holding you down, but if they need to finish the fight, that's where the issues come up. Khabib and Islam, they don't have that problem. Their wrestling and their judo is so high level, they are going to get you to the ground. But when they get you there, they display beautiful jiu-jitsu. They will jump on any and all submissions you give them. They are dangerous all around. When fighting guys like that, you are screwed everywhere on the ground. And you do not see this from many wrestlers. This actually reminds me of a guy who has an adopted black son named Michael Chandler. I recall Mike on a Joe Rogan podcast talking about how he would match up against Khabib.
Over the last couple months, the amount of times, like, as soon as Khabib fought, the amount of people that were just talking like, hey, you're the only guy that can match Khabib's wrestling. You're the only guy that can nullify his wrestling. I mean, to get yourself in the conversation, that's what it all is. It's all.
You were a big one that people kept talking about too.
Yeah.
Because you were saying that you think you could beat him.
100%.
And him, having that fight with Iaquinta, who showed some chinks in the armor.
So chinks in the armor showed what happens when Khabib can't take you down. Then I posted a video. Did you see the video of me scrambling with Kamaru Usman, the crazy,
yeah. That was awesome.
And I said, if all he has is wrestling, how do you beat a man who can't be taken down?
Right.
He brought up to Joe this very famous video of him and Usman wrestling against each other, and it was very, very high level stuff. And even Joe agreed it would be a good fight. But here's where him and Khabib and Islam are very, very different. He had a fight very recently against Dustin Poirier, and there are some key moments in this fight that display my point very well. Let's look at a few of them. Mikey had the craziest display of strength I have ever seen. He did a pistol squat, carrying Dustin, lifted him in the air, and slammed him. A pistol squat while carrying another man is crazy. He had no trouble getting Dustin to the ground. But let's see, directly after right here, he's taking his back. Oh, well, that did not end well. But as we know, Dustin's kryptonite is getting his back taken and getting rear naked choked. So let's take a look at some other examples to see how Michael handled these situations.
Oh, big takedown for Chandler.
The takedown was crazy. That was super sick. But Poirier was not blocking the space to get his hooks in. If Chandler was more proficient at all-around grappling and he slid those hooks in right away, Poirier's in trouble. Now, obviously, Poirier wasn't worried about giving up his back to Chandler. He was aware that Chandler didn't have it in his skill set. I understand that. But that's kind of the point. Why doesn't Chandler have that in his skill set? Well, he's just a pure wrestler. It is just a fact. The people who are the best in the world at taking your back are jiu-jitsu guys. That is what they do. That is a staple of the sport. Let's see how another quote-unquote wrestler does it.
An advantage that is for Islam. And you see, look, Bolt straight away going for it. And look at the way he took the back. I mean,
oh, you want more examples than just taking the back? Okay, well, let's look at this submission attempt.
He's putting him in a crucifix. No, looks like he's going to try to tackle the Kimura.
yep.
There was not a ton of defense with that Kimura at the moment. Dustin Poirier really wasn't defending it. The issue was with the setup. He just kind of gave up on it because he wasn't that confident in his ability to finish it. Now let me show you a comparison of someone else who also dabbles in on-the-ground fighting in a very similar position.
Starting to attack that now. Now he's inside. Yeah, Dan's in trouble. Dan's in trouble.
Islam was able to finish that submission in that exact same position because he is better than Michael Chandler at jiu-jitsu. It's that simple. MMA has gotten so advanced, everyone needs to be so well-rounded to succeed today. Being a really good wrestler, being really good at jiu-jitsu, it's not going to cut it anymore. You need to blend the two together. Another comment I was getting a lot on that jiu-jitsu video was people going, oh, jiu-jitsu sucks. Did you see Kron Gracie's last fight? And that, I mean, look, for someone to say that, you gotta be slightly chromosome deficient because any single person with anything going on in between their ears watches that fight and goes, wow, this guy literally thinks he can win an MMA fight with 100% jiu-jitsu. Because that was the Gracie's big philosophy. Kron Gracie's dad, Rickson Gracie, would say that. He would say, all you need to win an MMA is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And Kron went out there and he tried to win with pure Jiu-Jitsu. And as we all saw, yeah, that was awful. That was terrible. It doesn't work. That has nothing to do with Jiu-Jitsu as a whole in the sport. Anybody with any fighting style, if they tried to do what he did, it would have looked exactly the same. If some Division I wrestler was like, okay, I'm going to go into this MMA fight and all I'm going to do is wrestle. I'm not going to throw any punches, any kicks. All I'm going to do is wrestle. I mean, he's going to get guillotined on his very first shot. If someone decided, oh, I'm going to win MMA just with Muay Thai, well, they're going to get taken down and their face is going to get elbowed through the canvas. But no one's been dumb enough to try that except Kron Gracie. But that has nothing to do with jiu-jitsu itself not working. Look at what Khamzat Chimaev is doing. World-class wrestler, mixes in jiu-jitsu very well. He's a purple belt, and he is submitting tons of people. Bo Nickel is finishing guys off his back with triangles in his fights now. Justin Gaethje has made it very far only knowing how to strike and to wrestle. But you saw what happens when he fought Khabib. It didn't matter how good of a wrestler he was. When he got put on his back, he was a baby. He walked right into Khabib's triangle. To be fair, Khabib did make it look like he was going for an armbar, which made Gaethje think he needed to get up. All around, it was bad defense. It was terrible defense on Gaethje's part. You have to know it all. I remember in the lead up to Khabib Gaethje, I was telling everyone, I was like, look, man, Gaethje had a wrestling match with Jordan Burroughs, one of the greatest wrestlers ever. And Jordan, look, he won. He couldn't take him down. Khabib's going to struggle getting him down. And he did struggle a bit. It wasn't easy. But every time he did take Gaethje down, it was because Gaethje's defense was tailored to pure wrestling. The first takedown, Gaethje sprawled into the fence, which doesn't really work. The second takedown, he just gave up his back. Because he defended the takedown, but as far as defending anything else when it comes to grappling, he didn't have any of it. So it was just easy. All in all, to all those people in the comments, oh, freestyle wrestling, and look, that is just such bygone thinking. You can't have that anymore. There is no, this is the best grappling art, this is the best striking art, this is what you need. You have to blend them all together. What makes Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu and ground game so effective? He mixes in the wrestling very well. He's shooting single and double legs and body lock trips. You can't just have one. For anyone saying you only need one, you're dumb. You are dumb. You're stupid. That's just the sad truth of the matter.